What's up, guys? This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I, and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. I hope all is well with you. Now, guys, I just want to address something real quick. I was on my way out, but I saw this news, and I see that it's blowing up, guys. This is going to be the news of the week, apparently. But George Lucas, the creator, the maker himself, is going to make headlines because he has made a very surprising statement for Bob Iger. All right. So I know that this has been a source of a lot of controversy, a lot of arguments back and forth across the fandom. And if you're anything like me, you allowed yourself to really picture George Lucas as some dejected, misunderstood visionary who had his creation taken from him, and he's probably someplace crying while he sees what's been going on as far as his creation is concerned. Because those of us who really do love Star Wars, a lot of us have had a problem with where Star Wars has gone creatively in the last 10 or so years, right? Where we've seen all of our favorite characters either disgraced or killed or both. And we just have allowed ourselves, or I've allowed myself to believe that George Lucas would never agree with these types of things. There's no way he could be cool with this. He must be somewhere just pulling his hair out. You know what I mean? But maybe it looks like that's not the case. And I want to read a little bit from Variety.com so you can see what the big hubbub is about this, because you'll be hearing a lot about this going forward. And it starts with the headline: George Lucas backs Disney board and CEO Bob Iger amid proxy fight. And he says, the quote here is, "Creating magic is not for amateurs." The filmmaker who sold Lucasfilm to Disney in 2012 is the media company's largest individual shareholder. And it goes on to say, Star Wars mastermind George Lucas, Disney's largest individual shareholder, has come out with a statement supporting Disney's board and CEO Bob Iger, urging Mouse House investors to reject bids by two activist investor groups to take seats on the media company's board. And the quote is from George Lucas: "Creating magic is not for amateurs," Lucas said in a statement released on Tuesday. "When I sold Lucasfilm just over a decade ago, I was delighted to become a Disney shareholder because of my long-term admiration for its iconic brand and Bob Iger's leadership." Now, guys, you might recall, as I do, George Lucas making a comment to the extent of, "I've sold to the white slavers." All right, it didn't seem like then he was overjoyed. You never know. He could be joking. You never know. George Lucas, he has a very convincing poker face. Maybe it was all just a joke. But he continues, "When Bob recently returned to the company during a difficult time, I was relieved." He says he was relieved. "No one knows Disney better. I remain a significant shareholder because I have full faith and confidence in the power of Disney and Bob's track record of driving long-term value." Long-term value. George, have you been looking at what's been going on with Disney Plus? I dropped Disney Plus. I had it back in the day. But, I think that was probably maybe when Mandalorian had first started or whatever. I was just curious. But, as time progressed, I was like, fuck this, and I dropped it, and I think I'm not the only one. So you want to talk about long-term value? I don't know. Open those books, Georgie boy. Look at what's been going on. He goes on to say, "I have voted all my shares for Disney's 12 directors and urge other shareholders to do the same." Now, under Iger, Disney acquired Lucasfilm in 2012 for $4 billion, a deal under which Lucas received 37.1 million Disney shares. Lucas, who had founded the company in 1971, has an estimated net worth of $7.9 billion per the Bloomberg Billionaires Index. He is Disney's largest individual shareholder, according to sources familiar with the company. All right, so it goes on into Nelson Peltz and all of these things that's going on behind the scenes that other people on other channels can expand upon a lot more in depth than me. I'm going to leave the link to this in the pinned comment below so you can sound off on that, see what's going on. But guys, I want to take this in another direction because I know there's been a whole lot of infighting going on with the Star Wars fandom, ever since the sale. We don't, everyone has very, very strong feelings on the direction that Disney has taken Star Wars in. And this has resulted in quite the fracture in the fandom. We insult each other. We go back and forth fighting. And it's an ugly thing that's been going on here, guys. And when it's all said and done, I want this to serve as a reminder that what this really is, we can enjoy the movies, we can enjoy the TV shows or not. And I've said this from the very beginning. It's your right to like it or not like it. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, what it comes down to is these are rich people doing what rich people do. It doesn't concern us. In the immortal words of another famous George, that would be George Carlin, it's a big club and you ain't in it. You and I ain't in the big club. You know, they play these games and they make their money. So all of the arguing and infighting and stuff like that, when Return of the Jedi is re-released onto the big screen and people are called traitors for going to see it, for betraying George Lucas's vision and all of that stuff. Stop it. Stop it. George Lucas, and I said this at the time, George Lucas is pocketing a lot of money no matter what you do. If you go to see the movie, if you don't go to see the movie, this dude is in it for the money, man. He's Wu-Tang Clan. Cash rules everything around me. Creed, get the money. Dollar, dollar bill, y'all. That's his vision. You know what I'm saying? That is George Lucas's vision, guys, more than anything else. So you're not betraying that because he's making money off of it. He's doing great. He told you in his own words. So the best thing that we can do, guys, is we can have our feelings for where Disney is taking Star Wars creatively. But when it comes to things like George Lucas's original vision, well, he's not even standing on his original vision. It just seems to me that he is just cool with the fact that he's sold it. It's not his anymore. Creatively, he's got nothing to do with it anymore. So all it can basically do for him is make him more money, more money, more money. And he talks about it. He says that amateurs cannot create magic. And you guys know, magic has got to be the most overused term these days. We talk about black girl magic. We talk about magical Negroes. We talk about the Magic Kingdom, you know, and George Lucas wants you to believe that he still believes someday that Disney will find itself on top again. I'm sorry, all right, but we got to get this message, guys. We got to get the point. This is not worth all of the fighting. You know, so much of what we see these days is geared towards us fighting one another, dividing each other, while the elite at the top make off like bandits with all of it, you know? And I'm sorry to say, but George Lucas is one of them. He's in that club, and we're not in that club, as I said before. So this is something to keep in mind, guys, as we go forward, because the infighting and shit, it's been ugly. It is not just here, it's everywhere. But if you look behind the scenes, it's always the same, guys. It's always the top, the elite, the rich who pit us against each other, the working class, the working poor, the middle class, all of that stuff. It's time to stop that bullshit, man. We don't have a dog in this fight. These people are just playing their money games. That's all it is, you know? And if we want the type of entertainment that we want, we can value what we've had. We can cherish that. We can remember it fondly. Or we can create new ones, independent creators. Once again, it comes down to that. But even then, we have to remember respect. And I'll be talking about that on another video. But as for this one, guys, I want to know, how do you feel about George Lucas's statement, him backing Bob Iger? Remember, this is the visionary. He's talking about, you know, he's always had an eye for what's best in Disney and stuff like that. These are the people who are responsible for all of the creative decisions that happened with the sequel trilogy, all of the TV shows, all of the media, all of the backlash against the fans, all of this. George Lucas had nothing to say about that. He's not fucking thinking about that. The only thing he's thinking about is the paper, baby. That's it. That's all it comes down to. So please, guys, remember this. When we're dealing with one another, remember human kindness, respect, consideration, things like that. None of that is worth fighting over what rich people do. So guys, you can get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about this. As always, you can like, you can share, you can subscribe. Thank you for the super thanks, and I will catch you on the next one. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on.